Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. We will have 5 minutes Ram Nam. after the Ramnam chanting, we will have a touching prayer. Papa has been telling us even while chanting we should have the feeling, we are connecting ourselves to the feeling. It is not an activity, it is an expression of our feeling. So in order to give a push to that, today we will have a wonderful bhajan. A bhajan which we understand that it was Swami Vivekananda, while doing his sadhana intensely, when he felt the urgency to have his presence inside, it came out in the form of this beautiful bhajan. Luckily, this was translated into many languages, and we happened to hear when we were all children in Malayalam. So now somebody will sing in Malayalam. The meaning of it is this: how many days I should wait? Oh Lord, will my life will become a waste? You are the Almighty Lord of the universe. You are everywhere. I am only a very insignificant thing. Will you not hear these words of this insignificant? And in my house, will you not stay there? And my desire, my intense desire to have you, will it also become in vain? Because you are not responding. I feel you are not responding. Okay, my equipment is not clear. It is not pure. It is not worthy for a Lord like you to come and sit. I can understand. But then my request is, why don't you please come at least for a few moments? If you come there for a few moments, then my life will get blessed. This is the theme of the bhajan. Because it is in Malayalam, but you'll be seeing it in the PPT, the English meaning also. Try to travel with the theme. We are preparing our mind, Papa has been extremely gracious to provide, to facilitate everything for us, to make it as effective as possible. That is why he made us to select this particular bhajan, and it was sung by a devotee who also came. We cannot say accidentally, because Papa willed it, and with all the devotional fervor, she was able to sing. So let us all take the advantage of it. Hari Om.
എത്ര നാളിങ്ങനെ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നു ഞാൻ, വ്യർത്ഥമായിടുമോ ജീവിതമീശ്വര. എത്ര നാളിങ്ങനെ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നു ഞാൻ, വ്യർത്ഥമായിടുമോ ജീവിതമീശ്വര. ലോകങ്ങൾക്കെല്ലാം അധീശനാണങ്ങുന്ന്, ലോകങ്ങൾക്കെല്ലാം അധീശനാണങ്ങുന്ന്. കേവലം ഞാനൊരു നിസ്സാര ജീവിയും, കേവലം ഞാനൊരു നിസ്സാര ജീവിയും. സാധുവാമിന്നുടെ ചിത്തത്തിലങ്ങയെ, സാധുവാമിന്നുടെ ചിത്തത്തിലങ്ങയെ വാഴിക്കുവാനുള്ള മോഹം വൃഥാവിലോ. സാധുവാമിന്നുടെ ചിത്തത്തിലങ്ങയെ വാഴിക്കുവാനുള്ള മോഹം വൃഥാവിലോ. എത്ര നാളിങ്ങനെ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നു ഞാൻ, വ്യർത്ഥമായിടുമോ ജീവിതമീശ്വര. കൊള്ളരുതാത്തൊരു പാഴ്ക്കുടിലെൻ കൊള്ളരുതാത്തൊരു പാഴ്ക്കുടിലെങ്കിലും ആശയോടൻ ചിത്തം നോക്കുന്നിതങ്ങയെ. കൊള്ളരുതാത്തൊരു പാഴ്ക്കുടിലെങ്കിലും ആശയോടൻ ചിത്തം നോക്കുന്നിതങ്ങയെ. ഔദ്ധത്യമെന്നതു തോന്നരുതീശ്വര. ഔദ്ധത്യമെന്നതു തോന്നരുതീശ്വര. തെല്ലിട നീയതിൽ വിശ്രമം കൊള്ളുമോ. ഔദ്ധത്യമെന്നതു തോന്നരുതീശ്വര. തെല്ലിട നീയതിൽ വിശ്രമം കൊള്ളുമോ. അല്പമെന്നാകിലും വിശ്രമം കൊള്ളുകിൽ. അല്പമെന്നാകിലും വിശ്രമം കൊള്ളുകിൽ. ധന്യമാമെന്നോടെ ജീവിതമോർക്ക നീ. അല്പമെന്നാകിലും വിശ്രമം കൊള്ളുകിൽ. ധന്യമാമെന്നോടെ ജീവിതമോർക്ക നീ. എത്ര നാളിങ്ങനെ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നു ഞാൻ. വ്യർത്ഥമായിടുമോ ജീവിതമീശ്വര. എത്ര നാളിങ്ങനെ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നു ഞാൻ.
So we had this bhajan as usual. Every month we must also have the blessings of saints. They pour their blessings on us, but our mind will be satisfied only when we hear it directly from them. So today we will have the Ashir-vachan of His Holiness Swami Tejomayanandaji of Chinmaya Mission. We pray to him to bless us that the journey we started, it should become beneficial to us to the maximum extent.
Greetings from Sandipani Sadhanalaya, Mumbai. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. In this world, we have only two friends who are totally selfless, genuinely well-wishing and wholeheartedly loving. One is Bhagwan and the other is his devotee, Bhakta. This Bhakta can be a Grihastha, Santa, a householder saint or a Sannyasi Guru. Blessed indeed are the devotees of the Ananda Ashram who have found these two friends in Bhagwan Sri Ram and the most revered, beloved Papa Ramdas Swami. He was truly a great sannyasi in every respect, endowed with Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya and loving service to all beings. It is a matter of great joy that the Ananda Ashram is celebrating the centenary year of his Sannyas day. I pay my most respectful Shraddhanjali to Papa, invoking his blessings on one and all. I wished this centenary celebration a great success under the inspiring leadership and guidance of Pujya Swami Muktanandaji. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram.
One doubt welled up that when we said it's a manual for spiritual life, then naturally the question comes, though life itself is spiritual, it is very difficult for people to accept it as such. There is a divide in our mind. This is spiritual and this is worldly. So the question comes whether IQG, in quest of God, is useful only for spiritual aspirants. Certainly not. Even for our vyavaharic dealings, family level, professional level, social level, challenges, duties, commitments, when we handle, there will be umpteen number of questions, conflicts, trying situations. And at that time, if we approach IQG as a mother, she will definitely guide us. Why we say she will guide us? The entire theme is focused on, riveted on me and mine. And all our problems start from me and mine. The second chapter, he clearly says, please remove the I-ness from me. So he identified which is the greatest roadblock in our spiritual journey. So any answer to this should satisfy in any level. Whether you are a spiritual aspirant, whether you are a family, household member, whether you are a professional being, a subordinate or a boss or a proprietor, whether you are the president of the society or something like that, in the social being, wherever you are, if you start just analyzing whether you have named it as a problem, whether it comes from the individual level or on a higher level. If it is on the individual level, we have all tensions, stress, restlessness, disturbances, frustrations, whatnot. But the moment we try to raise ourselves a little from the individual level, that means trying to accommodate the other persons, trying to look at it on a level where we see that, oh, there must be something there. Then the whole attitude changes. This is what Papa has been telling us, not in words, through many, many anecdotes in quest of God. So this is a manual for our very life. Now we will have a quick recap.
In Quest of God. Recap. A bouquet of points covering introduction, chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Introduction. Question number 1. Life is a combination of pleasure and pain. However, everyone ultimately wants peace of mind. So, the question is, do the revelations of In Quest of God help us in achieving the same? We are totally interested in getting peace of mind at whatever level we are engaged in. Does this book help us in this direction? Answer. Point number 1. Read IQG with a mind to probe deep into it and chalk out a viable method by which we can try to reach the spiritual heights. Point number 2. The mind space should be filled exclusively with God remembrance. The result of it will be serenity and peace of mind. Point number 3. Like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is also called the Manual for Spiritual Life, every chapter of IQG gives us some guidelines to move towards that. Point number 4. Total surrender to God. Question number 2. What is the one supreme note and refrain of the voice that rings through the whole text of In Quest of God? Answer. Point number 1. Spontaneity of life, born of egoless purity and innocence. Point 2, a consciousness of the indwelling and all-pervading God. Point 3, a conscious and constant effort to see Him in all. Point 4, an unconditional, cheerful acceptance of all situations, treating them as ordained by God. Point number 5, a positive approach to everything and acceptance. Question 3. What is the sustaining contributory factor for achieving the above? Point 1. Constant remembrance of God through A. Chanting of the holy and all-powerful Ram Nam. B. Simultaneously meditating on the attributes of the all-pervading, eternal, ever-blissful, indwelling God. C. While reacting to events and individuals, or while handling various activities, a portion of the mind should have God remembrance as the undercurrent. We should remind ourselves this is also brought about by Him, not merely the chanting. Somebody pats on our back? Yes, He has brought about this too. Somebody insults us? Yes, there must be some reason for this too. God is testing me through some form. In this manner, we will be able to reconcile and get pause moments in us, equanimity in us. Question number 4. How can we take the text as a manual? Answer: by adjusting or readjusting, placing or replacing, and changing our attitude, our actions, our thinking style to that of the approach shared by beloved Papa in Quest of God. Question 5. This might look like an intellectual theory. Can this be made clear through an example? The example of the Siddhapur devotees returning from Anand and missing their connecting bus was shared. The learnings from this are: when we are confronted with testing situations, we should be motivated to hold on to the messages contained in Quest of God. The next point: have a positive approach in all situations. Positive approach gives us a cushioning when dealing with tests. Chapter 1, Part 1, Main Learnings. Point number 1. When we feel total helplessness due to the trying periods and pray from the bottom of the heart, answer from Him is sure to come intuitively. Point number 2. Have the right concept of God. He is the life force, awareness, intelligence, mysterious power. Point number 3. Go to the source of everything. Point number 4. Trying to understand God's impersonal aspect, the great void or Ram. Point number 5. Code of conduct. Simple living habits to gain more mind space for God remembrance. Point number 6. Whenever free from duties, be the period ever so small, we should meditate and utter His name. Point number 7. Periodical satsang in the form of reading books of various Mahatmas. Point number 8. Introspection to know whether the me and mine sense of possession is reducing. Chapter 1, Part 2. Question number 1. Are we to start the spiritual journey from making an attempt to know our individuality vis-a-vis the spirit? Answer. Point 1. Anything connected with the spirit is called spiritual. Point 2. Spirit is the Atman, Brahman, the life force, the mysterious power. Point 3. Connect with Him. Point number 4. The first and foremost requisite for a peaceful life is to know that man is not merely what he appears to be, a bundle of flesh, bones, blood, and skin. nor a creature living and acting solely under the impulses and instincts rising in the mind. Point number 5. Instead of depending upon outer guidance, try to choose a method to open up a channel of communication with Him within. Point number 6. Approach God by intensely pleading, appealing, and even crying for relief from the tormenting situations. Point number 7. Identify the source of all negativity, the me and mine factor. Point number 8. We should intuitively become aware of His guidance. Point number 9. Impose self-originated disciplines. Point number 10. Periodical withdrawal from the existing surroundings to concretize the values we have been trying to assimilate. Chapter 2. Main Learnings. Point 1. Whenever we are inspired by hearing about an ideal, we should know that there is an inner alignment with the ideal. By reflecting and contemplating on this ideal, we open up an inner dialogue with the source, from where we felt the inner alignment. Point 2. Clarity on the ideal will become a reality only when we identify the main impediment, me and mine. Point number 3. By going through the teachings of noble ones based upon their experiments and experiences, we get confirmation as to whether an inner dialogue has really taken place or whether it was our mind's projection. Point number 4. To check whether the ideal has become a part of our lives, we should subject ourselves to go through varied experiences and watch whether our mind holds on to the ideal or wavers. Be guided by fixed resolve, sustained faith, and optimistic outlook. Point number 5. We must have the grit. Come what may, we will take the plunge. Point number 6. Ensure that there are no loose ends at the Vyavaharic level. Chapter 3. Point number 1. Having taken the plunge, we should constantly be vigilant about the ideal, as otherwise the enthusiasm that wells up at the start may slowly get diluted. Point 2. Uncompromising adherence to self-originated disciplines. Chapter 4. Main Learnings. Point 1. Chant the divine name with the awareness that He is making us chant. Point 2. Under the banner of spirituality, we should not be insensitive to the needs and sufferings of those around us. A. God whom we concentrate upon comes in outer forms to test us. So, there is no disconnection between the inner God remembrance and the outer activities, being sensitive to the needs of others. B. The world we live in is a school in which observations and experiences offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is our Guru or God. Point 3. Adherence to self-originated, self-imposed vows and disciplines for the control of the mind. Point number 4. Self-evaluation to know whether we are content. Point number 5. Total reliance on God. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.